Paul's Christology, when read outside of Nicene presuppositions, is not at all an obstacle for Muslims. Now that we have seen how Paul's letters can be understood in Islamic terms, and that classical Sunni scholars like Imam al-Ghazali viewed Paul as a truthful expositor of Jesus' message, we must address one of the commonly abused historical objections raised by the more academic apologists like Ali Ata'i, the appeal to the so-called Ebionites as the true Christians, following Peter and James against Paul. I will attempt to shatter this doubt. We read in the Qur'an that the Israelite believers in Christ will be, quote, strengthened against their foe until they become, quote, uppermost. This verse gives us the decisive criterion. The true followers of Jesus must have become uppermost. Therefore, any sect that vanished early, dwindled in number, or was overwhelmed by their enemies cannot possibly be the community God refers to in the verse. We know that neither the Ebionites nor any other Judaizing Christian group meet the Quranic description, and so their portrayal as proto-Muslims is erroneous. Historians agree that the Ebionites were a marginal group, isolated to the Transjordan, doctrinally fractured, and that they went extinct 2 centuries before the advent of Islam. They never became uppermost, whereas the Pauline Christians did, spreading across the entire world. At this point, it must also be said that the very appeal to the Ebionites represents a methodological failure in modern apologetics. Instead of providing evidence from the continuing and historically documented Christian tradition, which God himself demands by saying, quote, bring your proof if you are truthful, some have rather appealed to a sect that has left no institutions, no authoritative writings, and no surviving voice of its own. This is a sad excuse for scholarship, attempting to circumvent the entire historical record by appealing to a group that cannot be examined and therefore cannot be inconvenient to the argument. It is a rude diversion tactic, an insult to Christians.